Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of your women. That is good. That is good.
Hello, welcome to Ohio Warrior. It's been a while since I put a battle report up, but trying to get back into the swing of things since I got my move and everything done, and decided to go down to Kansas City. A good way to prompt myself into getting some battle reports up is driving about 4 hours down to Kansas City to playing a little tournament down there. Kind of escalation tournament they have going, a series of tournaments, pretty neat. They're using, this time they're using the end time rules, not the combined Tomb King Vampire Army, but the 50% Lords and Heroes. So if you saw my list that scrolled through a little bit ago, you know, it's 1,500 points, Orcs and Goblins. I was going to take Dwarves. I was going to take 3 cannons and a couple small blocks with Vanguard, because there's a lot of extra victory conditions that are available in these scenarios as well. 50 points for a centerpiece terrain controlled, as well as 2 secondary objectives, each worth 25 points, and this is calculated at the end of every one of your turns. And then there's an additional 25 points for table quarters. Now, only units with fortitude can control the extra points and the table quarters. However, units without fortitude can contest them. So I was going to go with a dwarf list with like a couple small units with Vanguard, move out onto those things, Cannonball, what I'm going to think is going to be a lot of monsters, ridden monsters by characters, and a lot of nasties. But in the end, I decided to go with Orcs and Goblins, and if you saw my list, I've been wanting to play a Wyvern character for a long time. I've had that model. I love that model. He kind of sucks though. He ends up coming in at around 400 points. I probably should have went with a 4-up ward save, but I figured screw it. So anyway, so we get to the tournament, and my first round is against Empire, and this Empire player is playing Karl Franz on a dragon. So, oh boy. So we got Karl Franz on a freaking dragon. He's got a unit of halberds there, and some swordmaster detachments, and he's got 2 cannons and a mortar. So that's pretty much his entire army. In retrospect, in hindsight, I'm not even I don't think it's a legal army. It's supposed to be 3 units. I don't think detachments count for a separate unit, and even if they do, war machines, yeah, war machines do. Never mind. That's right. So it's legalist, but yeah, that's pretty much all he's got. Now he does make a mistake, and he deploys in a the woods are the controlled pieces, and then in that middle tree is the 50-point objective, and then there's table quarters. So I go ahead and deploy my guys. I've got 80 Night Goblins, but not 80, like 70 some, and 2 Wolf Chariots and Black Orcs. Black Orcs with a Flame Banner. I figured, what the hell? And I wanted to take my Black Orcs. I like the models. So I deploy these guys near this objective and in the table quarter. And then I've got my Wolf Chariot there, just kind of sideways, so if I lose first turn. Now the only thing good about this situation here is that this woods, or this hill in the middle, it's got these rocky outcroppings, and it blocks line of sight for cannonballs. So as long as I don't get my Wyvern too close to the edge of that where he can skip some over on me, I'll be okay. Now I don't have anything to deal with Karl Franz on a dragon, so I'm thinking, if anything, if I can lock him up with my Night Goblins, he will take a long time in trying to kill them off. Yeah, basically the whole game. I got the Fanatics, you know, that can launch, and then with the nets, and the nets really won't do any good against Franz, but anyway. So there's my Wyvern over here. I'm thinking, well, maybe I could fly over to those woods and claim the extra 25, but I'm just going to park my Blackworks on that 50-point bonus and try to collect as many as I can before the dragon comes to destroy them. I've got my Wyvern kind of positioned to threaten. Now, one thing about a Orc war boss on a Wyvern is he looks kind of badass, so he gets some respect from some things that could pretty much wipe his ass off the board. I would have no chance against Karl Franz. I'd have like 5 strength, 6 attacks, but he'd attack first and he auto wounds. So I get first turn, and on first turn I get an animosity result over here. Now the spell that I rolled for my 1 spell, and there's also I made a mistake. I probably should have squeezed in the points for at least a flaming ring, a ruin, or the level 2, but whatever. I got animosity. The spell I do have is the vortex spell. So Curse of the Badman. I move up within 3 inches of the tree. So, and then I just kind of keep my Wyvern hiding from cannons. He's got 2 cannons back there. I'm hoping maybe one will misfire or something, and then I can run the gambit of trying to get back in the backfield or something. Or actually, he might have won first turn there. I didn't take a picture because he moved Franz out there and he killed the Wolf Chariot. So on his turn. So yeah, the Wolf Chariot's gone. And on my turn, I got an animosity. So yeah, it's a little cat and mouse. But right off the bat, on my turn, I'm scoring 125 bonus points, 50 plus 50, and then 25 for the woods. So, and he got 25 for his table quarter. So that's just if I can just stall. So on his turn, he flies up. Yeah, I skipped a few pictures, and I'm so sorry. But anyway, on his turn, what he did is he flew up. So he flew up right next to my Blackworks, and I went ahead and marched, and I marched out of the way of his charge arc. I attempted to charge with my Night Goblins, and I failed by an inch. So I had to launch a Fanatics because I moved within range of that, and they all dropped an inch short, no matter what range I was aiming at. So they're all short there. I moved the Wyvern out of the charge arc. So I'm just trying to avoid Franz here, but see my Night Goblins kind of tried to charge there, and so they kind of opened their flank up to the halberds. I don't really care. I've got a Crown of Command in there, and even without the Crown of Command, because I'm not planning to move my guy into base contact, at least until after his hatred and stuff is gone. I should, with the 18-inch bubble for my general, I should be fine. So, on his turn, he charges. He makes that charge, so he's into the flank of the Night Goblins, and I just kind of skipped ahead a picture. He did a lot of wounds to me. About Stubborn on a leadership 9, rerollable, because neither my BSB or my war boss were in contact, and I reform. Then he kind of realizes, whoops, made a little bit of a mistake, and I got the nets. So he was strength. I think I forgot to roll the nets this first round, and so he was still strength 4. But and then the next combat round, I remember I'm like, hey, I forgot my nets, so I roll them, and I actually net myself for my first combat round there. But yeah, so there's that. So when he realizes, whoops, made a mistake there, my over here, my Blackworks just again march away. I'll forget about the tree, just kind of threaten those cannons a little bit, and I make a mistake here, and I charge this chariot into this Karl Franz, and it turns out to be a mistake. Yeah, I do make the charge over here with my Wyvern, so those guys are going to be in some deep crap. Yeah, so on the Karl Franz thing, well, we'll get to that in a sec. Over here, I'm throwing a lot of strength 2 attacks. I declared my WOG, so I've got the extra +3, and I roll a 3, so I get +3 on that. I get my Thunder Stomps. I'm able to break those guys, and I run them down with both units, and both units actually rolled really high and caught them. And so now the Sword Masters are looking to get their asses run over by some night goblins. And so I'm still controlling a lot of the objectives. I'm gaining a lot of extra points here. But now my wyvern is there in the middle of getting shot by some cannons. Now, okay, over here, when I made that mistake, Franz has been kind of getting a little too close, and I'm getting out of his charge arcs. So I run in with my chariot, and I do the impact hits, and I only roll 4. When I roll where they go, a bunch of them end up on Karl Franz, and I am able to put a wound on him, but obviously he kills the chariot and he's able to reform. So I was like, oh, that was stupid. So he charges into the back of the Black Orcs with Karl Franz. If I wouldn't have done that, maybe I could have baited him into just getting a quick chariot kill, and that would have been great. Or if anything, he would have had to fly back over this way, and I could have maybe made a long charge on a cannon or something if I rolled lucky. I mean, he's going to get me eventually, but I didn't really want it to be so easy. So now in these games, a lot of these pictures there wasn't a lot happening, it seems like, so it's hard to take pictures. Now over here, he's got 2 cannons there. There's no minimum range. Actually, I think only 1 cannon can draw a line of sight, because we had declared at the beginning those rocks were kind of impassable and stuff, but or no, difficult terrain. They do block. So he's got 1 cannon, but of course, cannons are just death for monsters and stuff. I think I'm just repeating some pictures here. He comes in, and there's also another thing for this tournament, is you could purchase these rerolls, and my opponent had purchased a reroll. So he rolls his breath weapon, he rolls Snake Eyes, and then he re-rolls that and ends up getting about 9. So between the breath weapon, thunder stomps, and whatnot, he kills a bunch of Black Orcs. He does blow up my wyvern with his cannon. He rolled, exactly what he needed to roll. He did 5 wounds to the wyvern, and he did 3 wounds to the boss, and I wasn't able to make any of my 6-up ward save. So they're both dead, which is kind of sucked, because I could have charged into that mortar and started getting into the cannons. Here's the combat here. I do reform. On my turn, I'm steadfast, so I'm able to pass my leadership check, and I pass my reform check. So I reform. I got great weapons, but there's just not a whole lot I can do. I do issue a challenge on the next phase, so that keeps me alive for 1 more turn. And if I could have just stayed alive, for the whole thing, it would have been that's 333 points for the Black Orcs. So could have had me a nice win, but I don't really have anything in the toolbox to deal with Franz. And my Vortex, spell, I tried to do that a couple times during the game, and it only does 1 wound. I tried to put it over the halberders earlier, and it either never went off, or I actually forgot to roll my mushroom one time. It fell by like 1. But anyway, so in conclusion here, I did kill that mortar. I charged my war boss out of there, and he makes the charge, and the night goblins just kind of want to stay there to collect 25 more points. So I killed the mortar. So in conclusion, he killed the Black Orcs and my wyvern for like 733 points plus the general bonus, so 833. I was able to kill the halberders with a warrior priest in there, the detachment, and a mortar, but he got hardly any points for the extra objectives, and I was able, through the whole course of the game, to collect quite a bit. So we end up with a draw. So not bad. So it's a 7-7, or however the points were. They were kind of a little weird the way the points were. I think we both got 7 points for a draw. So can't complain, since basically my whole objective was to hide from Franz or lock him up. If I could get past the cannons, my wyverns could clean up a lot of the rest. My wyvern could clean up a lot of the rest of the stuff. But not much chance to that. So got a draw, not bad. pretty happy with at least getting that. So going to be going into round 2, and I apologize for some of these battle reports because of the way that this 1500 points is kind of free flowing. It's really fast. All these turns, it's like I'll try to cast one spell and then go to the next phase, and there's like no shooting or maybe 2 shots, and it's hard to take pictures of shooting. And so, but it's still a battle report, and it's a draw for the Orcs and Goblins. Not a loss is a win if you're a green skin. Alright, thanks for watching.